Hey, how you doing? Today is Tuesday, the 2nd of February 2021. The time now is about 11:30 a.m. So we're just about coming up to midday. We're here down in Finsbury Park. The temperature today is about -2, right? -2. But the thing is, sometimes I've been to the park when the ground is actually frozen. That's overnight and wind chill and things get really cold. So in the morning the ground is frozen, and I'm here early in the morning. I'm actually exercising. Yeah. So once again, so it's a Tuesday today. We're in February. It's the 9th day of February, 2021. The time is about 11:30 going on to midday, 12 midday. We are down here in Finsbury Park. The temperature is below zero. It's about -2. With the wind chill, it'll go further down to -5, even to -7. Okay, I'm looking at the mic there and I'm seeing there's a little breeze, and so if there's any rustling on the sound, then it's because of the little breeze. It is snowing today, obviously. Well, I hope you can see it, because I've done all my video log in Finsbury Park, and I thought myself, today is the day I've got to go and catch the snow. It has been snowing before. We had a couple of days last week sometime, Sunday and Saturday. I kind of avoid the park on Saturday and Sundays because it gets busy, because everybody is out trying to get away from, being stuck inside or exercise time. So it gets pretty crowded. By the way, we're in a tier 4 lockdown with extra things like what are the extra things? Oh, okay. The extra things is like so school. There's no school. There's no education. Everything is streamed online. The exceptions is you got to go to work if you can go to work. If you can work at home, if you can work from home, you got to work from home. You're not advised to travel. You're not advised to go on holiday. You're not advised to socialize with anybody in your house. You're allowed one person to go out to the park with and exercise. So no groups of people inside, as in strangers. But if you're part of a household or a bubble, then it's okay. Oh, the exceptions are you could go and if you're looking after somebody who is vulnerable, or you got to deliver food to them, or they're an old person and they are isolating, then you could go and visit them. Even for the mental health as well, to keep them sane. Wow! All of a sudden it's got much brighter. Don't know if you can see it in the shot, or don't know if you noticed from when we started to where it is now. It's actually got a bit brighter, and I am trying to figure out what the actual effects are. The climatic effects that has caused everything to brighten. I don't know whether you can see it. It's actually brightening a bit. Let me just check we're still recording. Yeah. Yep, we're still recording. Right, so it's a snowy day today. So I've been here almost every season. Every season here in Finsbury Park, and even though I could stay at home and do this, I feel better when I'm out in the park, because I can actually think, and the journey here is part of the exercise, and there's nothing distracting me but only nature itself. It just totally I'm totally isolated from everything, from the world, from the crazy world, from the technological world, from the Facebooks, the YouTube, the Twitters, and the news, whether it's television, whether it's radio, or the telephone. By the way, I've discovered a very exciting thing, which is actually old news for some of you, because some of you may have been doing it a long time. And as I talked to one of my friends using the technology that is old school for some people, but it's new school for me, so I'm pretty excited about it, because I am part of the visual and what have you. And so what is it, and how did I come about this thing? So somebody I know from the park, Finsbury Park, was typing, communicating with me on Facebook. People always say, oh, they talk to me on Facebook. Well, no, it's about, you gotta get the image right. Oh, I've spoken to somebody. No, you didn't. You text them, or you message them, or what have you. And then you got Facebook Messenger, you got WhatsApp, you got other similar application like WhatsApp. You got, I don't know if there's any other social networking things like Facebook. Well, there is one called Parler, which the extremists tend to use, and it got shut down via the Western technology people who host them. But the Russians are now hosting Parler. Let me repeat that. The Russians are now hosting Parler, so the extremist website where all the people was communicating, and they got together and they decided to storm Washington, the building of Congress. Not the building of Congress, but the Congress building. And we now have a new president, Joe Biden, Sleepy Joe. Yes, knocked out Donald Trump, and Vice President Kamala Harris. First African American and of Indian, as in India, distraction or mixture. So Parler, technology, Facebook. Now, so I was typing, messaging this person, because suddenly they came online and I was online, and so anyway, I set up the webcam and I gave them a webcam call. But when I first gave them a webcam call, they had their first, they had everything set up, and they're in their warm, cozy house and stuff. And I was a bit shy, talking about me being a bit shy. I'm in front of the camera anyway, a bit shy. I wasn't, you got to get ready to be in front of a camera. And I have another friend who says to me, oh, I am going to have an interview. I'm going to be talking to somebody. And, they made it sound like they're going to physically go out and meet someone. No. How they do it? They do it on the Zoom, And, y'all been doing that. Not Zoom, but the first one. Anyway, let's say a Zoom call. And they were going to do it on Zoom, and they made it sound like, oh, got an appointment at 2:00, I got to be there. But yes, I realize how you got to look the part, be prepared to be in front of the camera. So it does take a lot to do a Zoom call and to do one of those web chat things. You got to look the part, and because it came from a female, I realized for a female to look good, some females put a lot of energy in. And so, when they said that, now I realized. So anyway, this is the first time I switched my webcam on to really have a conversation with somebody. The first time I actually had the camera turned down, and then I logged off, and then I reset it and stuff, and I had a great conversation. It's just like having a conversation with somebody here in the park. Actually, it's somebody I do know from Finsbury Park, but they were at home, and I was chatting to them at home. Social chat, what have you. Normally, chat to people. But what was interesting, the phenomenon. So as she was chatting to me online on the Facebook video chat messenger thing, she had a call, and she says, "Oh, her friend is coming around, and as soon as the friend comes around, she's gonna log off the call." And it reminded me of the scene in the movie where the guy bursts into a woman's bedroom, and he bangs the door first of all, and he goes, "Let me in. I know you got somebody in there." And then she opens the door, and he walks in, and he goes, "Where is he?" Looks under the bed, he ain't there. Looks in the wardrobe, he ain't there. Looks out the window, he ain't there. Usually, at this time, the guy is actually hanging off the window ledge, probably butt naked, right? Right. But in this case, all he had to do was lift up a laptop, and he will see my ugly mug looking. Right. So on the other side now, I got to quickly switch it off, and then suddenly it goes blank. And it's a whole new dimension. It's a whole new thing, usually, some women are flirts. That's the way some women are, and that's the way some men are. But it's only somebody I know, and they're just having a conversation, and it's like really interesting, and people do take the new technology very, very seriously, and their relationship and stuff. And even if you text somebody or a phone call from somebody, your partner or your friend, whoever you're in a relationship, goes absolutely berserk. Who's this person? La 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 la. But as you get older, you should be mature enough to understand that people have other communication with other people. It could be their brother, their sister, their mother, their father, their auntie, their uncle, their nephew, their nieces, their great auntie, their great uncle, their great nephew, their great nieces. There's a whole connection, and that's just the family connection. Now you have workmates, right? You have old mates, you have schoolmates, you have school friends, you have exes, you have people you hate, you have frenemy, you have enemy. You got people trying to hunt you down because you owe them money. People who you're avoiding because you owe them money. You got official people, you got unofficial people, you got the rent man. You got the guy coming to take your car away. But yeah, so that's something interesting in the technology thing. And, I was pretty chuffed about that. I'm going to just bend down here, just out of the shot. Hope you enjoying the view. Yeah, so I'm back. I'm back in shot. Yeah, so that was the technology. Now, we are in lockdown number 3. And as I greet people, as I've seen them for the first time this year, I don't say Happy New Year, I say Happy New Lockdown. In fact, I've lost track of how many lockdowns and how many the restrictions, from March last year to this February, so 11 months officially. It's 11 months under the lockdown thing in the UK, but I was really aware of the lockdown, the virus thing from since December. So it's 12, 13, 14 months. So 14 months I've been aware of this. By the way, China is coming up to their new year, and last year every now and then I go down to Leicester Square where the Chinese folks enjoy their new year. I've been there over the couple of years, and if you go through my YouTube channel, you see some of the footage I've done over the many years, as I've gone down to Leicester Square in central London where they celebrate the Chinese New Year. Last year I got invited by a friend, and she's a Buddhist, and she had loads of food and stuff, and this is like the second year she invited me, and I still didn't turn up, and that was down in central London close by to Leicester Square, and I didn't turn up. So we're coming up to the Chinese New Year celebration. Last year was the metal rat. Is it metal rat? And that's connected to my birth sign when I was born, and I was looking forward to it, but the whole year kind of got cancelled, the virus and stuff. So we're coming up to the New Year, Chinese New Year. I'm not quite sure what the symbolism, whether it's the ox, whether it's the chicken, whether it's the I don't know what they call it. So the Chinese New Year is coming. So it's about coming up to, it's 11 months, 12 months. I've been watching the virus thing. Oh, the lockdown, how many different kind of lockdowns. So it's been up and down. So we've had extreme restrictions. I'm not even going to call it lockdown now. I'm going to call it restrictions. So we've had different restrictions, and then from last year, from strict restrictions from April, I think around September it eased off, and there was this eat one. You could have gone to the restaurant, and the Chancellor would subsidize up to £10 a meal and what have you, and then the whole thing flared up again, and then there was a kind of lockdown, shut everything down, and then we were coming up to Christmas, and this is right, everybody, we can we had rules where we had 6 people in your house and 6 people outside, and now we're under the rules where we have nobody inside and 1 person outside, and we're up and down like that. And yes, you can go to school, kids can go to school now. No kids go to school. So in England, we've got no kids going to school or anybody going to education. But I've got to remind you again, the UK, United Kingdom, is not the United Kingdom under the virus. Scotland has different rules. Wales have different rules. Ireland has different rules. And because we're out of Brexit, we came out of Brexit January the 1st, we've got a border now in the middle of the channel that separates Ireland from England. And Scotland now wants a referendum because Scotland now wants to leave the kingdom, the United Kingdom. Scotland, Ireland, Wales, right? Scotland wants to leave, so they saying, right, we're gonna have a referendum, and so the restrictions isn't specific for United Kingdom. It is England, Wales, Ireland, and Scotland. So I hope you got that. So the virus has shown that division you know, and there's different attitudes in different places and what have you. So we're in the thick of the virus. We're under lockdown, tier 4. So one of the biggest things is that the non-essential shops are closed. Right? So there's, you know, normally you'll get big mittens and stuff. You can't even go and buy mittens because you can't even go buy mittens because the shops are closed. So there's no, you can't buy anything frivolous, right? It's all essential. The places that are doing well are the online places like Amazon, and you know, you order and the guy comes and he pulls up in his van and he rings your doorbell and leaves it in front of your door, and then he stands back and you open the door and you pick up your package. And that's the kind of thing that's going on. And also there are shops that are doing the click you'll order it online, and then you just go down to the store and they'll have a little window or door, and they'll just open the door and pass you what you've ordered online. Click and collect. So you click online, pay online, you end up at the store, stand up outside the store, you give them your order number, and they just open the door, give you your parcel, what have you, and off. So you don't have to go in the shop. It's all outside. Argos round by me is a great example of that. So there's 60% of the shops are actually shut. All right. So these are the non-essential shops. So 60% of the shops are actually shut. And if you haven't been functioning as a business for over a year, you probably won't have a business. And so if you're in that situation, I wish you the best. But here's what we are forming: a kind of normality, or a reality, or normal reality, or reality normality. What happens with animals and humans is that they would eventually go back to what they normally doing, right? So the government has had a whole heap of restrictions, and suddenly people are breaking the restrictions. They're breaking out of the lockdown. They're doing their own thing. All right, now in the far background we got traffic. So the government says you can go to work, right? You can go to work, and so the government wants the economy going. The other thing is that there are other things. One of the things that has really kind of, well, annoyed me, but I have to live with it and work with it, is that the government said that last time there was a lockdown in March, April, your car, your MOT, they gave you 6 months, right? This time you have to get your car done. There is no leeway or whatever. So the government actually forces you to get that done. There's no leeway. I'm getting letters from debt collectors, and so the economy is going along in certain places as normal, and so there is two kinds of message, or different kind of message, or whatever you believe in. So when I say two kinds of message, it's this: some people are taking this lockdown 100% seriously. They just locked in, and they ain't going nowhere, and they ain't even opening the door for nobody, not even their friends, their family, or what have you. They take it very, very seriously. And some other people now, if you are an essential worker, or you've got a takeaway shop, then life seems to be normal for you, because you got people coming in and out and buying food, and you got to go and do the stock, and so life hasn't changed for you. In fact, life may have actually improved, because you got more people now coming into your shop, because it's an essential service if you're doing takeaway, right? And I have a friend like that, and because it's part of my business and part of my work, I went down to see him, and he literally, I said to him, "Oh, don't you know there's a lockdown?" He goes, and he literally had a go at me, and I'm thinking, wait a minute, don't you realize there's a lockdown? You're not supposed to be out there unnecessarily. But if you're out there doing business, you're out there doing work. By the way, if you're a service engineer and you need to go into somebody's house, whether it's to like plumbing, or whether it's the electricity, or whether it's gas, right? You can do that. That's the exception, right? So on the business, you can still continue. And so on the business, I have some stuff I got to do for my friend, and I haven't done it, and he's really upset. I'm thinking, wait a minute, don't you realize there's a lockdown on, there's the restrictions? But then his mind is that there is no restrictions, because he's constantly working. He's working overtime, because that's his experience. Now other people now are under total lockdown. They're frightened to even open the front door, right? And then we got some people now who goes on holiday in Dubai. There's been a great big thing about that, so we got British people who go to Dubai, and they sending pictures over there, and they're in the bikini, and they're having a drink, and they're going, yeah, we're having a great time. They call themselves influencers and what have you, right? And meanwhile, some folks are back here going, nobody should be traveling. It's like, as part of the rules, you shouldn't be going on holiday. And this morning I heard one of the ministers say, yeah, no holidays, because that's the law. Nobody should be traveling on holiday. And they flout the rules, but it isn't their fault, because the government has this thing called sort of special pathway with certain countries. So these countries, you can fly in, fly out, no restrictions. You don't need no tests. You don't need to quarantine or anything, right? And that was available, so people exploit it, Also under the auspices of business, so you could travel on the business and what have you, not on a holiday, And so if that's classified as a business, so you classify it as a business, and so they exploited that. Some of them, on the other hand, when because sometimes the restrictions change overnight, and in the country that they're in, which does corridor, that's the word they use. So Britain has got corridor with a few countries. Spain was one of them. Dubai was one of them, right? And so those corridors meant you could go to and from, right, on business, right? No restrictions. You don't need no you don't need no test or anything, right? So people exploited that, but now that is not available anymore, because we are, well, it's dying down. We had an episode where we had a variant, a mutant virus from England, which spread all over. Now it's actually dropping down, but where we are now is still higher than in March. But also, we are now better at treating people. We're not better at treating the symptoms. People have learned from their colleagues abroad, from their experience, and so there's a great thing. Let's add to that the vaccine. We're now in a vaccine war. Now, whether you believe in the vaccine or not is a whole conundrum. Now, here's my twist on it. Now, the rate of infection and the death rate is actually dropping down right now. It had peaked up It was like 1,500 death rate per day. Now it's down today. I think it was like 400 today or yesterday, right? Today's Tuesday. Monday it's always low. Tuesday today it's around midday today. In about 4 or 5 hours they're gonna release the numbers, and they'll probably shoot up, right, to about 1,000, because it's up and down, real crazy, erratic. So we had a massive rise, and so there was a lockdown. That's why we're in lockdown 3. That's why there's no kids going to school, and because of that lockdown, it's now beginning to ease off. Now, about 10 million people's got the vaccine, has been vaccinated. Now, here's the conundrum. My belief is that the reason why it's actually gone down is because the peak we had, the super contamination, was around Christmas, or was around New Year, when everybody was home. So everyone's had the symptoms. Those who recovered. Those who couldn't make it, sorry, has passed away. But meanwhile, the hope that they've given everybody is about the vaccine. So people are fighting each other for this vaccine. So so we're in two camps again, right? We're in two camps. Let me just that was a commercial break. Wow. It's like a mud bath down there. Woof, woof. I see a little doggy watching me. Doesn't look like a friendly doggy, but anyway. So vaccine. So there's a vaccine war going on. Europe, the European Union, at one point cancelled, because some of the stuff get into England, because the factories was in Europe, and Europe put in the orders late, and they got upset. And so because the factories are in Europe, they said you can't deliver it to England. But because of the contract that was signed by England, and England got it in first, and so that's all solved. But for a moment there, we thought we were going to be at war with Europe. And by the way, we have left the Europeans, so it's a bad relationship. You know, it's an ex-relationship with Europe, so you know, you could look at it that kind of way. So we in a sort of vaccine war. So the biggest thing that people are on about at the moment is the vaccine, and there's various aspects to this vaccine. Where we at with the vaccine is this. Well, the way I see it is this. Now, you got problems with the ethnic minority, black folks like me, who are not overjoyed in getting the vaccine or taking the vaccine. And guess what? The wider population is upset. Why black folks ain't taking the vaccine, right? Well, tell you what, because we were taken from Africa as slaves, and you're in America. You were taken from Africa and ended up in America, and as slaves, right? And then even up to today, you're still treating us as slaves, right? Black Lives Matter. You know, look at the prison system, right? Pure black folks. Look at the mental health system. Pure black folks, right? Can we get a job? No. Why not? All kind of excuses, right? So, and you expect us to trust you, and you get upset now because we don't trust you. Remember, you took us from Africa, ended up in America or the Caribbean, right? That's why we're over here, and you're still treating us as a slave. Now you want us to take that stuff, and you want us to trust you. You got a lot of You got a lot of apologizing to do, and you got a lot of reparations to do. And stop bringing out those black folks to say, yeah, it's okay and ain't no problem. Even during slavery, we still had those people. And all through our history, we always had those people, right? And even though we got police officers who are black, it still ain't equal, right? So nothing on those police officers who are black, because you got a tough job. But there's a, certain aspect which ain't fair in that. So back to the vaccine thing. Right. Now, the thing about the vaccine, the thing about the virus is this. Anywhere in the world where there's the vaccine, where there's the virus, it means it's everywhere in the world. Right? And the virus is mutating. Now, one of the stories where the vaccine is the panacea and we're going to be out of this, and but the news is actually breaking. And like I said in my last webcast, right, the news is actually breaking. It's now being admitted that the vaccine isn't 100% going to protect you from the variants, the mutants, the mutation of the virus. And today, South Africa, the mutant strain from South Africa, the South African people authority says we're not taking the vaccine, right? Because it's not as effective as it should be. But meanwhile, in the UK, they're saying that, I don't know what they're saying. They're saying the vaccine has some effect, but not as effective as they thought it was. Actually, I don't understand what they're trying to say, so I'm not even going to explain it, right? So, whatever you believe is whatever you believe is. But it is sold as the panacea and we're going to get out of this. And the reason why the numbers have dropped for me is not the vaccine, right? Because the vaccine takes time to kick in, right? So we're in February. Let's say by the end of March, the vaccine should be effective in most people. So by then, hopefully, that infection and that death rate actually drops down, and we may be able to, kids might be able to go back to school, the non-essential shops will be able to open, but as far as I hear, we'll be still under some of the basic principles of the virus, which is keep your distance, wear a mask, wear gloves, wash your hands, no socializing. So these things are going to be in place. So that's a little bit about the plus we have people actually fighting each other. Now some people don't want the vaccine. I don't want no vaccine. But some people, they will fight you to get the vaccine, the hook and crook, right? So the whole vaccine thing, we in the new thing about the vaccine at the moment, so here we are. Let's say it's about midday. We're in London. Today is Tuesday, February the 9th, 2021. Winter. We don't know when spring's gonna come. Winter. Like I said, midday, 2021, 9th of February. Oh, the temperature outside, it's about -2. The wind blowing, the wind chill and stuff. I've managed to survive this, although my nose is a bit thin. And this is Finsbury Park here. You see, it's now. If there's anything today I'm going to say is that we are in a form of normality, whether you like it or not, whether the government likes it or not. The government always gives two types of message. So what's the normality? For some people, they're going to work every day, right? And their work is not necessarily non-essential, right? No, their work, you got non-essential, you got essential, right? So some of you going to work are in industries which is non-essential. Non-essential means you don't need it to live and survive and what have you. And so you're going to work, these are industries, manufacturing, services, what have you, right? But shops on the high street, 60% of them are shut because it's non-essential. So those people who are working, right, you can catch the bus. I don't know whether you can see, you can catch the bus, you can use your car, right, you can go to work, you can come out. So that's a form of normality, right? The bills are still coming in. The biggest bugbear is that they've announced that they're going to put up the price of electricity, right? So on average, everybody is going to get a price rise of at least £100 in British money, £100 this year. In fact, in a few weeks' time, it's going to go up. We're all going to, right? Now, it means that we need an increase just to keep up with the bills. Now, there's some people who can't even pay the bills. And here is the excuse they use. They said because there is people who are unable to pay the bills, they put the price up. Now, what happens to those people who can't pay the bills in the first place? Right? Now, they're going to be out on the streets, right? And these companies have, they'll pass your debt to debt collectors, then they come knocking at the door, you know. Oh, the word destitute, you know. So it's kind of crazy. So the electricity company, the energy companies put up the bill, right? Now we're on the lockdown, we ain't earning money. Some of you have lost your jobs, some of you just about surviving, some of you just first time for social security or universal credit. You're going mad, you're going crazy. Now the energy has gone up. Right. Now, what's happened to the government that's supposed to look after us? What's happened to the people supposed to look after us? Like our MPs and, you know, and these organizations. I hope you heard that helicopter. Now that is like a fish. That's like a Black Hawk. Is it Black Hawk? Yeah. It's just sailing through like like a shark through water. You can hear it, but I don't know if you saw it. You know. Right. So energy prices gone up. Right. Look at the weather out here. Right. Some people can't afford to heat up their place, and you go put the energy up. Now all the chat show people and the TV people, you know, nobody's saying that's wrong. Nobody's, you know, what they say, oh, you can change, right? Now you change to whatever company, after 12 months, they double the price on you. So you got to change again. You're always jumping around. But here's what, the base price always rises. So you jump around, you get a reduction for this year, but next year you won't get that reduction because everybody's price go up, right? Same with these companies where you take out your insurance, whether it's car or whether it's household insurance, right? Suddenly they got this thing called automatic renewal. They will automatically renew it for you, right? But they put the price up on you, right? You know, so I had to, like, good example is the car insurance. I had to, like, stop my car insurance and find a new company. But that new company with a car insurance, right, is cheap now, but next year it's gonna go up again, right? So I'm gonna have to jump to another company, right? Now we're so busy trying to earn the money to stay alive or what have you, and all these bills and letters coming through, right? You know, some people ain't got the energy or the time or even the know-how, you know, or it just wears you out. People are just kind of tired, right? But the big bugbear is, why is nobody, people in government, saying, what's with the utility companies? Why are they putting up their prices, right? We can't afford it, right? Now, if you're poor, the virus has shown how the difference between rich and poor, and some people who are in the middle classes are now poor because they lost their job, right? They can't pay the bills, they're on the edge. Now it's gone up again, you know. But let me kind of get to kind of conclusion, right? Now, we are entering a kind of normality, and the government cannot put any more restrictions on us or hold us down anymore, because there's countries where people are actually protesting about lockdown, right? Over there in Europe, right? And even over here, we have people who every now and then there'll be some anti-mask protests or anti-lockdown protests, but they'll get squashed very, very quickly, right? Now, just around the corner over there, we got a guy named Jeremy Corbyn. His brother is one of the leaders of the anti-lockdown, anti-mask, don't believe in this shit thing, right? Now, that's a minority of people, but the majority of people now are reaching a stage where they can't take this no more, right? They're now slowly doing things that they would like kind of normally kind of do, right? So I can see this is in the last phase of the kind of lockdown. But what will happen is that we will have people continue dying from the virus continue mutating. We'll have people getting sick, and we kind of, some of us kind of reach the stage where we'll be like stepping over people, you know, as they, metaphorically I'm talking about, not physically, right? We'll be like stepping over people, just carrying on our business, because that person's got the virus, that person's lost their job, that person has fallen on hard times, you know, they just step over him and you carry on. You just be looking after yourself, which has been happening during the lockdown. A minority of people who believe they have the privilege and exercises their privilege have been doing that. But now there's more people who are now not being not following the lockdown as before. They're just easing it. Even there's friends of mine who are now starting to do things that they believe is normal. But wait a minute, we're on the lockdown, right? And so in the general British people, they're now forming a kind of normalization, right? So this is the new kind of normal, right? And so we're going to have people dying, we're going to have people in hospital. The hospitals themselves are saying, okay, we now got to start looking after the normal things like cancer and back operations and ingrowing toenails and all that kind of thing, breast cancer. We got to get back to that. You know, they've concentrated so much on the virus that people are actually dying of the normal ailments that, you know, the services normally think. So there's the kind of normality creeping in, and I believe it's going to be, this is the way forward. Well, we got no choice. This is how we do it. You know, whether you like it or not, I believe this is the exit strategy. Whether you like it or not, whether it's official, but definitely it is unofficial, right? And as you see, I mean, people are here, they're walking, they're running, they're just trying to get away from this, you know, the mental health thing. And in a more personal situation, let me just check, we're still recording here. Yeah. In a more personal situation, my rent's gone up by 33%, right? So landlords put the rent up, right? That's because it was halted 3 and 4 years back. They put it up. Electricity's gone up, right? All the car bills, right, are in. And if you don't pay any of the car bills and your car is out on the streets, right, they're gonna fine you, right? Congestion charge, right? So if you travel through London to the other side, or you go into the city, it's like I think it's £15 now, and it's from 7 a.m. in the morning till 10 a.m. at night, 7 days a week, right? Okay, so that's just to travel through, right? So you got that, you got the car, you got the rent, and then, you know, because we're in Europe now. No, not because we're in Europe, because we've left Europe now, certain things are going to go up in price, right? So all that is continuing as normal. Plus I got people sending me letters. Hey, pay up. You're like, shit, right? So the virus hasn't stopped those things, right? And those are man-made things. Those bills are coming from other men. These are companies, these are government. This is, you know, if you don't pay your council tax, if you don't pay your tax, if you don't send your returns in, if you don't have car insurance, if you don't talking about a car in my area, they've actually, it's impossible for me to drive quickly from this side here over to Hackney. There is no route through. They have actually put blockage all the way around. In fact, it's actually quicker for me to walk to Hackney than actually drive to Hackney, because you could only drive on the main road to get to Hackney. You can't drive inside the side roads because they put up no entry signs. They're gonna fine you, right? They put blocks in the road. It's like, damn, they've made things harder and harder and harder, you know. Anyway, let me leave you there. So I hope that you got a place to stay. It's warm, and it's winter here in the UK, and probably anyway around the world. It's winter, except for Australia. They just like, you know, summer, hot, you know, and Africa. Right, so I hope you got a place to stay. I hope it's warm. I hope you got food to eat. And I hope you got company, you know, whether it's the dog, the cat, the wife, the husband, somebody. Even I'm talking to the tree. People walking past the park here in the background, and I'm actually, because the eye level thing, you see, right? So even you got a favorite tree you need to talk to, no problem, right? So at least it keeps your mental thing going, right? You got pigeons, cats, dogs, you know, at least you got that, right? So this is where we're at, almost a year. Gotta show you, it's winter here in Finsbury Park, and I had to catch a snow, and we haven't had a Christmas really, because Christmas is cancelled. And I really don't know what's next, but this is going to be part of the new reality.